Hey everyone, welcome in. My name is Angie Norris. Welcome back or welcome to my YouTube channel. And today is Friday, December 27th. And I'm here at home in my home in North Carolina. It's a rainy Friday afternoon and I am just being lazy and I did a little cleaning. I leave my Christmas decorations up until well after New Year's. I'm one of those people. So I'm not taking Christmas decorations down, but just cleaning up in general after Christmas. And one of the things that I thought I would tackle today is my 2025 TBR list. So that's what this video is going to be about. So come hang out with me as we talk about that. So let me tell you a little bit about myself if you don't know me and how I acquired all the books that I'm getting ready to talk about. So in 2024, this year, earlier this year, at the end of April, I had surgery, a breast reconstruction surgery. I am a breast cancer patient / survivor, and I had a breast reconstruction surgery the end of April that ended up having some complications and ended up being in the hospital longer than I thought, and my recovery time was a little longer than I thought, but it actually caused me to start picking up books again, and I fell back in love with reading again. And guys, my timer on my oven just went off. This is real life. I'm making some sausage balls, so let me go get them out of the oven and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Sausage balls are out of the oven. Real life here. So anyway, let me finish telling you a little bit about myself. My name is Angie Norris. I live in North Carolina. I am a breast cancer survivor, and I had a breast reconstruction surgery that had a complication the end of April that caused me to be in the hospital for longer than I thought and at home recuperating for longer than I thought. And it was really the catalyst that threw me back into a love for reading. I loved to read when I was a child and when I was in school and as an adult and when I started working. And just over the years, I would, find excuses not to read. But I have fallen back in love with reading. I joined an online book club. I actually then started my own online book club. And so from about May to now, I purchased a lot of books. I purchased them from several different sites, from WhatNot, fellow WhatNot sellers, from Pango books. I would buy them in thrift stores because I love to go to thrift stores. I joined the Book of the Month Club and somehow felt compelled that every month I should purchase a book. So I have several new Book of the Month Club books hanging around. So today on this Friday afternoon, it's Friday, December 27th, at the beginning of this video, it may take me a couple of days to finish this video, but today is Friday, December 27th. I decided to go through all the books that were on my personal bookshelf to be read and make a list and see if I could immediately weed out a few of them and decide that they were not going to continue to stay on my TBR list. So I wanted to share that with you. I have a list here, and on this list, there is a total of 31 books. Now, there were actually 35, but I immediately took 4 off the list. I have just decided that this is not a genre that I want to read or want to stay on my TBR for right now. I may decide later to go back and try them. And some of you may be very disappointed, but I bought these books because I got caught up a little bit in the Fourth Wing series. I was encouraged to read that by one of the WhatNot sellers that I follow on WhatNot. And I loved Fourth Wing and the second book, Iron Flame. And so then I kept hearing about this other book series called ACOTAR. And for those of you that don't know, ACOTAR is an acronym for A Court of Thorns and Roses. And this is a book series by Sarah J. Maas. And I have 3 of the books that I purchased. Excuse me. 2 of them were paperback and 1 was a hardcover. And I purchased these off of WhatNot from a seller, thinking I'll just get them. I'll, save them. I'll read the series. Well, I have decided that fantasy, I have read a few fantasy books and enjoyed them to some extent. Like I said, the Fourth Wing series was very good. But it is not a genre that just screams at me, I gotta read, I gotta read, I gotta read. So these 3 books that are in the ACOTAR series, I'm going to put on sale on my Pango website. So if you are interested in them, I will make a comment below and I'll send you a link to my Pango store. Along that same lines, I purchased this book from a WhatNot seller. And this is actually like book 3 in this Crescent City series. It's also by Sarah J. Maas. It's another fantasy book. So I'm immediately taking these 4 off my list. Okay, so that leaves me with 31 books that are on my shelf. And so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them that I am going to talk about in this video and determine if they are or are not going to stay on my TBR list. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I am going to read the first chapter of each of these books. Not live, of course. I'll put you on pause and then come back, and it may take me a couple of days to film this video, but hang around because I'm going to let you know how reading one chapter of this book is going to help me decide whether it's going to stay on my TBR list or not. So we may dwindle this 31 book list down even further. So let's see. Let me show you all the ones that I have initially chosen that were comprised these 8 books, and then we'll go from there. So the first one is by Ruth Ware, In a Dark, Dark Wood. This was a purchase that I made from a seller on WhatNot, just at the suggestion that this author, Ruth Ware, was a great author. I have not read anything by her before, so that I put it on the list. Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. I have read 2 of Lisa Jewell's books and they were okay. I like mystery, suspense, thrillers, but they were not wonderfully okay. Like, I didn't give them a 5-star rating. So this is one that I bought before I read the other 2. So we'll see. I bought this book, The Cult on Fog Island, thinking that I was going to read it back in October during spooky season, and I did not. And I may keep this one, but it's a very thick book. So I'm going to read a chapter of it to see if I really do want to keep it. It's kind of like a psychological thriller. A Slow Fire Burning by Paula Hawkins. Once again, this one was, I was influenced to purchase this one by someone on WhatNot who was just raving about it. All right, and then the next 4 books are Book of the Month Club, brand new books that I purchased back when I first joined Book of the Month Club and just felt compelled to buy a book every month. And they have been sitting on my shelf. some of them for longer than others. And I have just decided that just because I'm in Book of the Month Club, I don't have to purchase a book every month, because then it just keeps adding to my TBR list. Unless it's something that is recently out and it's something that I have just really been, wanting to read. So there's 4 of them. I think this was like the very first Book of the Month Club book that I ever bought. Margot's Got Money Troubles. So we're going to read a chapter of that. This one I just got for like the month of November, I think. I think this is a seasonal, like Christmas themed mystery, The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. I may keep that to read next Christmas. I bought this one during the month of October, The Book of Witching. And then The Love Elixir of Augusta Stern. So those are the 8 that I am going to read one chapter from, and we'll be back in just a second to get started. Okay, the first one we're going to start with is The Love Elixir of Augusta Stern. And let me just read to you a little bit because I really don't remember. So inside the front jacket, the description of what the book is about. It says, it's never too late for new beginnings. On the cusp of turning 80, newly retired pharmacist Augusta Stern is adrift. When she relocates to Ralantonda Springs, an active senior community in southern Florida, she unexpectedly crosses paths with Irving Rivkin, the delivery boy from her father's old pharmacy, and the man who broke her heart 60 years earlier. When Augusta was a teenager growing up in 1920s Brooklyn, her role model was her father, Solomon Stern, the trusted owner of the local pharmacy and the neighborhood expert on every ailment. But when Augusta's mother dies and great Aunt Esther moves in, Augusta can't help but be drawn to Esther's curious methods. As a healer herself, Esther offers Solomon's customers her own advice. Unconventional remedies ranging from homemade chicken soup to a mysterious array of powders and potions. As Augusta prepares for pharmacy college, she is torn between loyalty to her father and fascination with her great aunt, all while navigating a budding but complicated relationship with Irving. Desperate for clarity, she impulsively uses Esther's most potent elixir with disastrous consequences. Disillusioned and alone, Augusta vows to reject Esther's enchantments forever. 60 years later, confronted with Irving, Augusta is still haunted by the mistakes of her past. What happened all those years ago, and how did her plan go so spectacularly wrong? Did Irving ever truly love her, or was he simply playing a part? And can Augusta reclaim the magic of her youth before it's too late? So, I can tell you why I chose it, because it sounds intriguing. So I'm going to read a chapter and I'm going to tell you whether it stays on the list or off the list. So come back. Okay, I'm back. All right, so I read the first chapter of The Love Elixir of Augusta Stern. It was only 6 pages, so it didn't take me too long to read it, and I am intrigued. For now, it's going to stay on the TBR list. I can tell you just by looking at the title of the second chapter that this is going to have dual timelines. So the book opens in June of 1987, it says, and then it jumps back to June of 1922. And so I liked it so far. And so it's going to stay on the list. All right, on to book number 2. Okay, on to book number 2, The Book of Witching by C.J. Cook. This is a brand new, it was a book of the month. So I'm going to read you what's on the inside front cover, a little bit about what the book is about. It says, a mother must fight for her daughter's life in this fierce and haunting tale of witchcraft and revenge. Clem gets a call that is every mother's worst nightmare. Her 19-year-old daughter, Erin, is unconscious in the hospital after a hiking trip with her friends on the remote Orkney Islands met a horrifying end, leaving her boyfriend dead and her best friend missing. When Erin wakes, she doesn't recognize her mother, and she doesn't answer to her name, but insists she is someone named Nix. Clem travels to the site of her daughter's accident, determined to find out what happened to her. The answer may lie in a dark secret in the history of the Orkneys. A woman wrongly accused of witchcraft and murder 4 centuries ago. Clem begins to wonder whether Erin's strange behavior is a symptom of a broken mind or the effects of an ancient curse. All right, so I'm going to read the first chapter, and let me see how long it is. Oh, it's only, first chapter is only like 3 pages. But I may have to read 2 chapters, but then the second chapter looks really long. So let me see. I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, I'm back. I did read the first chapter, which is set in present day. In 2024, it actually gives you a date, May of 2024. And it was very short, so I decided to go on and read part of the second chapter, and it jumps back to January of 1594. I'm okay with dual timelines. I do not have a problem with jumping back and forth like that. A lot of people do. I do not, but I can tell you that I'm gonna ditch this book. I'm gonna actually put this on my WhatNot and Pango and eBay sites, wherever it may sell first. It's a brand new book. I initially thought maybe I might keep it and read it during the spooky season, but it's a book about witching set in Scotland in the 1500s. It really just reminds me a lot of Outlander, vibes, and I wasn't into Outlander. I watched like half of the first year of the series, and it wasn't for me. So I don't think this book will be for me either. So that's one that's gonna go off the TBR list. Come right back for book number 3. Okay, book number 3 is The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. And I am thinking that this one was seasonal, but let me see. Let me read you what the inside front cover says. Knives Out gets a rom-com twist to this rivals to lovers Christmas romance mystery from best-selling author Allie Carter. The bridge is out, the phones are down, and the most famous mystery writer in the world just disappeared out of a locked room 3 days before Christmas. Meet Maggie Chase and Ethan Wyatt. She's the new queen of the cozy mystery. He's Mr. Big Time Thriller Guy. She hates his guts. He thinks her name is Marcy, no matter how many times she's told him otherwise. But when they both accept a cryptic invitation to attend a Christmas house party at the English estate of a reclusive fan, neither is expecting their host to be the most powerful author in the world, Eleanor Ashley, the Duchess of Death herself. That night, the weather turns, and the next morning, Eleanor is gone. She vanished from a locked room, and Maggie has to wonder, is Eleanor in danger, or is it all some kind of a test? Is Ethan the competition, or is he the only person in that snowbound mansion she can trust? As the snow gets deeper and the stakes get higher, every clue will bring Maggie and Ethan closer to the truth and each other. Because this Christmas, these two rivals are going to have to become allies, and maybe more if they have any hope of saving Eleanor, assuming they don't kill each other first. So I know why I bought it, because it was thinking that I might read it at Christmas. So I'm going to read the first chapter and I'll come back and tell you what the verdict is. Okay, I'm back. All right, the first chapter was only 5 pages, so it didn't take me that long to read it. I can tell you that this is a rom-com. I am not a huge fan of rom-coms, but 2 things intrigue me about it, or maybe 3. 1, that it's set during the Christmas season. 2, it is a mystery, because I love mysteries. And 3, that the 2 main characters are novelists. They're book writers. So that intrigues me. So I am going to keep it, and I'm probably going to put it aside and read it in 2025 during either November or December as a Christmas themed book. I like to read seasonal books during the appropriate season. Okay, so that was number 3. I almost lost count there for a second. So let me get the next one and I'll be right back. Okay, book number 4 is another brand new book of the month, Margot's Got Money Troubles. So let me read what the inside front cover says. It says, as the child of a Hooters waitress and an ex-pro wrestler, Margot Millets always known she'd have to make it on her own. So she enrolls at her local junior college, even though she can't imagine how she'll ever make a living. She's still figuring things out and never planned to have an affair with her English professor. And while their affair is brief, it isn't brief enough to keep her from getting pregnant. Despite everyone's advice, she decides to keep the baby, mostly out of naivety and a yearning for something bigger. Now at 20, Margot is alone with an infant, unemployed and on the verge of eviction. She needs a cash infusion fast. When her estranged father, Jinx, shows up on her doorstep and asks to move in with her, she agrees in exchange for help with childcare. Then Margot begins to form a plan. She'll start an OnlyFans as an experiment. She soon finds herself adapting some of Jinx's advice from the world of wrestling, like how to craft a compelling character and make your audience fall in love with you. Before she knows it, she's turned it into a runaway success. Could this be the answer to all of Margot's problems, or does internet fame come with too high a price? I'm going to read a chapter, but I can tell you right now, I probably am not going to read this book. Okay, guys, I didn't even make it through the first chapter. The first chapter, in fairness, was long. It was, 13 pages. I only made it about a third of the way through that chapter. I didn't like the subject. I didn't like the language from the get-go on the first page. The language is not great. and this book doesn't make me happy, so I'm happily going to take this off my TBR list and put this for sale on my Pango, WhatNot, and eBay sites if you're interested. Okay, we're bebopping right along here. We are on book number 5, A Slow Fire Burning by Paula Hawkins. I believe this is a mystery, but I'm not sure. So let me read the inside front cover. With the same propulsion that captivated millions of readers worldwide in The Girl on the Train. So that is what the hype was about. This was The Girl on the Train, was written by Paula Hawkins. And so this is another one of her books. When a young man is found gruesomely murdered on a London houseboat, it triggers questions about 3 women who knew him. Laura is the troubled one-night stand last seen in the victim's home. Carla is his grief-stricken aunt, already mourning the recent death of yet another family member. And Miriam is the nosy neighbor clearly keeping secrets from the police. 3 women with separate connections to the victim. 3 women who are, for different reasons, simmering with resentment. Who are, whether they know it or not, burning to right the wrongs done to them. When it comes to revenge, even good people might be capable of terrible deeds. How far might any one of them go to find peace? How long can secrets smolder before they explode into flame? Look what you started. Okay, so I'm going to read the first chapter and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. A Slow Fire Burning. I read the first chapter, and actually it was so short I read on into the second chapter. I am going to keep this one on the list. This is a mystery, and I'm a big mystery fan. It may even be more like suspense mystery. So I want to give this author a try because I have heard good things about her. So for now, this one is going to stay on the list. I'll be back. Okay, book number 6, The Cult on Fog Island. And this one is supposed to be a psychological thriller. So let me read what is on the back of the book. Welcome to Fog Island. When Sophia meets Franz, the handsome, charming leader of a mysterious New Age movement, she's dazzled. Encouraged to visit his headquarters on Fog Island, Sophia is struck by the beautiful mansion by the sea, the gardens, and the sense of peace. But as summer gives way to winter, and the dense fog from which the island draws its name sets in, all contact with the mainland is severed. No phones are allowed. Electric fences surround the grounds, and Sophia begins to realize no one ever leaves Fog Island. Utterly gripping, The Cult on Fog Island won the Swedish Crime Time Specsavers Award and is a powerful thriller set in a modern-day cult. And this book was published, I think it's been out for a while. Hold on. (2018), so it's been out for a little while. So I'm going to read a little bit of it and let you know what I think. Okay, I'm back, guys. All right, The Cult on Fog Island is a no-go. I did read the first chapter. It was about 14 pages. The writing just doesn't draw me in. It sounds like, in the description that I read earlier and in what I have read in the first chapter, that this is going to be a suspense thriller, but it is about a cult, and that just is not appealing to me today. So I'm going to ditch this one. It's going to go in my WhatNot, Pango, and eBay stores if you are interested. Okay, we are on book number 7, two left. Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. And as I said, I have read a couple of other books by this author, and they were okay. So let's see. Let me read you what the back of the book says. No one ever just disappears. Ellie Mack was the perfect daughter, and then she was gone. 10 years after Ellie's disappearance, her mother, Laurel Mack, is trying to put her life back together when she meets an unexpectedly charming man in a cafe. Before she knows it, she's meeting Floyd's daughters, and his youngest, Poppy, takes Laurel's breath away because the eerily precocious Poppy is the spitting image of Ellie. And now the unanswered questions she's tried so hard to put to rest begin haunting Laurel anew. Where did Ellie go? Did she run away from home, as the police have long suspected, or did something more sinister happen? A haunting page-turner of sheer perfection, Then She Was Gone is a gripping and emotionally resonant tale of one mother's quest to uncover the clues she failed to recognize and finally discover the truth of what happened to her daughter. So I'm going to read the first chapter and I'll come right back. Okay, I'm back. I actually read the first 2 chapters of this, and the chapters weren't very long, but I am intrigued. I love mystery suspense, so this sounds like that's what it's going to be. And so for now, it's staying on the TBR list. One more book to go, and we'll be done with this video. Okay, the 8th and final book that we're going to do in this video is In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. And let me see what the description of this, if there is a description. There's really just a lot of accolades on the back and the front from different authors. It really doesn't have a description on the back. It's a paperback. So let me read the first chapter and I'll come back. Okay, guys, I am back. And In a Dark, Dark Wood is staying on the TBR list. The first chapter was only 2 pages, so I actually read the second chapter as well. So that was about 15 pages total. I've never read anything by this author, but I really like the writing style and I'm intrigued by the story so far. So it will stay on the list. But out of the 8, I did eliminate 3. One of them just fell on the floor. So these 3 are coming off my TBR list: The Cult on Fog Island, Margot's Got Money Troubles, and The Book of Witching. So those will be up for sale, and my TBR list was whittled down a little bit. I'm going to do a video probably tomorrow or sometime over the weekend of what my TBR list will be for the month of January. Okay, you guys have a great day. I appreciate you watching my YouTube channel, and be blessed.